He was once the face of college football, the hero of a national championship, the pride of Texas. He made over $50 million in the NFL. But now he's broke. And worse, he didn't even see it coming. This is the shocking story of how one of football's brightest stars lost it all. Vince Young. Vince Young grew up in Houston, Texas. Raised by a single mother in a tough neighborhood, life wasn't easy. His father was in and out of prison. Money was tight. But on the football field, Vince was a force of nature. At Madison High School, he dominated. His size, his speed, his arm strength. It was all unreal. Scouts called him the next Michael Vick, with even more upside. He stayed home to play for the University of Texas, and that decision would change his life forever. By his junior year, Vince had led Texas to a perfect season. Then came the 2006 Rose Bowl, a showdown against a stacked USC team, maybe the greatest college team ever assembled. What Vince Young did that night? Legendary. With just 19 seconds left,
Young had to make a quick decision here. Gonna call his own number. It was a perfect
he ran in the
10 all
game-winning
night.
touchdown. Texas won the national championship. And Vince Young, he became a sports icon overnight. Not just a football player, a legend. The hype for the 2006 NFL draft was intense. Young declared early. Teams were drooling over his talent. The Tennessee Titans selected him third overall. They signed him to a 6-year, $58 million contract with nearly $26 million guaranteed, and he delivered. In his rookie year, Vince led the Titans to multiple comeback wins. He was named NFL Rookie of the Year. He even made the Pro Bowl. Sponsorships started pouring in. Reebok, EA Sports, Subway. At just 23 years old, Vince Young had the world at his feet. But behind the scenes, cracks were already forming. Vince had no financial training, no real support system, and he was spending money at a rate that even billionaires would flinch at. His spending? Legendary and reckless. Reports say he spent $5,000 to $6,000 per week just on food. The Cheesecake Factory was his go-to. One dinner bill, $15,000. One time he rented out an entire Southwest Airlines flight for himself and his entourage, just so he wouldn't have to wait in line. Cost? Over $20,000. He surrounded himself with friends and family, many of whom were just along for the ride. He hired people with zero experience to manage his money, his legal matters, even his career. He owned multiple homes, a fleet of luxury cars, and handed out money left and right. And as his football performance began to decline, his spending didn't. After a few strong seasons, the pressure started mounting. Injuries piled up. He had public clashes with coaches. In 2008, he lost his starting job. He bounced from team to team, Eagles, Bills, Packers, Browns, but nothing stuck. The offers dried up, so did the checks. By 2012, Vince Young's NFL career was unofficially over. But the real damage was only beginning. He filed a lawsuit against his financial advisor, accusing him of fraud and misuse of funds. The advisor claimed Vince had signed off on everything. No matter who was at fault, the result was the same. In 2014, Vince Young filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. His total assets? Around $500,000. His debts? Over $1.5 million. For a man who once made over $50 million, the fall was devastating. And the most painful part, he didn't even know how bad it had gotten. He thought he still had millions. But this isn't just a story of loss. It's also a story of growth. Unlike many athletes who spiral after losing everything, Vince Young made a choice. He went back to school, returned to the University of Texas, and earned his degree. He even took a job as a university ambassador. A full-circle moment. He tried his hand at business. Not all succeeded, but one stood out. The Vince Young Steakhouse in Austin. Over a decade later, it's still open and thriving. He also became active in real estate and mentorship programs. Now he speaks to young athletes about money management, planning for life after sports, and avoiding the mistakes he made. He's no longer chasing NFL dreams. He's building something real, a legacy beyond the game. Vince Young's story is shocking, But sadly, it's not unique. 78% of NFL players are either broke or under major financial stress within just 3 years of retiring. Why? Because they go from having nothing to having everything, to losing it all. They're sold dreams, not financial literacy. They trust the wrong people. They believe the fame will last forever. But as Vince Young's story shows, money can disappear faster than it comes. Still, this story isn't just a tragedy. It's a lesson, a warning, and most importantly, a second chance. Vince Young lost everything, but he found perspective. He owned his mistakes. He didn't run from them. He used them to build a new life. Today, he doesn't speak as a superstar. He speaks as a survivor, and that's a story worth telling. If you're fascinated by real-life NFL stories like this, subscribe now for weekly episodes diving into the rise and fall of football's most iconic players. Comment below, which athlete's story should we tell next?